What's up everyone? Today we're going to be taking a look at Nocturnal 2, a new Metroidvania that is set to launch in Q1 of this year. The developers recently dropped a demo on Steam, and after spending about an hour and a half getting through it, I want to talk to you guys about it. Everything you're seeing on screen is footage directly from the Steam demo. Now keep in mind, this is still in development, so things could change before the final release. But since we're only a couple of months out, I'd expect that what we're seeing here is pretty close to what we'll get. Now let's dive into the world itself. Nocturnal 2 is a moody, atmospheric Metroidvania where you play as Ardashir, the bearer of the enduring flame. Your goal is to explore the forgotten city of Ytash, not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, to break a curse that has consumed your homeland. What immediately stood out to me as I started the game is the art direction. The game utilizes a striking hand-drawn style inspired by Persian architecture, a refreshing departure from the medieval Gothic aesthetic that dominates the genre. It reminds me quite a bit of Prince of Persia, and frankly, it helps the game carve out its own visual identity right from the start. The world of Nocturnal isn't just dark for atmosphere, it is literally being consumed by shadow. This is where your role as the wielder of the enduring flame becomes integral to the gameplay. Your flaming sword isn't just a weapon, it's your primary tool for navigation. Think of the darkness as a fog of war. Your map will not update until you physically light torches and furnaces in a room. In the demo, progression was often tied to something called fire presence, which is basically a measurement of how many objects in the area you have lit. For example, to reach a specific boss, I had to raise the fire presence in the area to 25%. You achieve this by hunting down fire sources spread across the map, but not all sources are equal. While lighting small torches only increases your fire presence percentage by a small amount, lighting larger objects like furnaces increases that percentage by a lot more. This mechanic is also used to create tension during platforming sections. At certain points, I had to light a torch to send them moving along a predetermined path. While it's moving, you have to escort it and continually strike it with fire to keep it lit, otherwise it will turn off. These paths often had enemies or some other obstacles such as falling water that blocks your path. If the water hits you, it extinguishes both the torch and your sword, forcing you to retreat to a previously lit area to reignite your blade, because fighting in the dark is a massive disadvantage. If your sword is extinguished, your damage output drops significantly. Moving on to combat, the demo threw a decent variety of enemies at me, ranging from zombie-like foes to creatures spawned from pure darkness. But what impressed me the most was the way the game felt. Each blow with the sword felt heavy and satisfying. You also have access to a throwing dagger on a cooldown, which serves a dual purpose, dealing ranged damage and lighting distant objects to unlock new paths. The game seems to lean heavily into aggressive combat. As you progress, you unlock moves that can be woven into combo strings. In the demo, I was able to launch enemies into the air, follow up with a downward strike, and bounce them off the ground to essentially stun lock them. When I was able to pull this off, it felt incredibly satisfying. Aerial combat is also crucial, particularly because knocking enemies airborne is often the safest way to deal with them. Defensively, you rely on a dash to slip through enemies, combined with your standard jump and double jump to weave through attacks. You also get a healing flask that replenishes as you fight enemies, but to use it you must remain stationary for a short time, meaning that you will have to find a safe window to pull it off. Progression itself is tied to discovering fire orbs, which unlock new abilities via some very slick animations. The demo also introduces us to the Sun Child, a statue that acts as a hub for upgrades. On the left side of the menu, you can unlock gifts using in-game currency. In the demo, one of these gifts granted the ability to fast travel back to the Sun Child. On the right we have pledges, but they weren't available in the demo, so I'm not sure what that's about. In the center we have brands. These are passive enhancements that you can purchase with in-game currency. Things like lowering your dagger cooldown so you can use it more often, or increasing the amount healed by your flask. In regards to platforming, the demo was relatively straightforward, mostly timing jumps while dodging turret projectiles. Given that this is a Metroidvania, I do expect traversal to get much more complex as we unlock more abilities in the full game. In the demo we only had access to the double jump and wall jump. I do have one critique regarding the movement. The double jump animation triggers this screen shake that felt a bit jarring to me. I understand the developer's intent. Ardashir is using his flame to launch himself like a rocket, so they wanted to feel powerful. But during intense combat, the screen shake can feel rough rather than responsive. With all of that said, I was pleasantly surprised by Nocturnal 2. The Persian-inspired aesthetic paired with combat that feels this smooth makes it a title worth watching. The developers have mentioned on Reddit that the game will run about 6 to 8 hours with multiple endings, which sounds perfect for replayability. I definitely recommend that you guys check out the demo on Steam yourselves. I've left a link in the description. Let me know what you guys think of the game below, and if you've played the demo, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more gaming content. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.